Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel.
Hey guys!
Oh my gosh. Okay, today guys, we're going to talk about my language arts curriculum and my electives 2, which is my writing or our writing curriculum. I recently did a video about how we do writing within our home, okay? And I'll go ahead and link that video in the description box below. But my son is going to serve as my helper. He's going to pass the books along to me as I ask for them and as I talk about them. But our language arts and our electives 2, which is writing, kind of intertwine, okay? They kind of mesh together. And something else that I want to mention is that we don't use the same curriculum throughout the year. My son is currently in the 5th grade, and this curriculum will take him through the 5th grade, and it may bleed a little bit into the 6th grade, but hey, I'm okay with that. I don't have to finish my curriculum within a specified time period, and we may not even finish the curriculum depending on the information that he knows, or if he's grasped it, or if the end of the curriculum is a review or basically the same information but just providing a whole bunch of more examples. I may just say, we're done, let's move on to the next thing. But another thing, our electives 2 consist of a gamut of things. Electives 2 consist of writing, logic, rhetoric, literature, to include a little bit of literary analysis, picture study, and poetry, okay? But in this video, I'm only going to focus on writing because that's what I truly have a curriculum for. All that other stuff, I use other resources to pull together and teach and discuss, okay? So let's first go ahead and start off with language arts. With language arts, I split it in 2. The first half of the year, first 6 months, we are year-round homeschoolers, by the way. The first 6 months, we focus on basic writing through freestyling, gathering thoughts, putting them on paper, making things more vivid and more interesting, figuring out how to hook your reader up, how to write a good sentence with a little bit of the mechanics side to that. And then we focus on the 8 parts of speech in the grammar portion and how to classify sentences, okay? So, with that said, let me show you our main curriculum. Yeah, give me that. Our main, thank you. Our main curriculum is the Shurley English Method. This is what, this is the resource that we use, or the curriculum that we use to, you know, I can see you, right? So I need you to stay on that side of the camera so you can give me the books, okay?
I was going to come this.
Okay, that's fine, go ahead. Okay, so this book teaches us the basic grammar concepts, okay? It teaches my son how to classify sentences properly and how to pull out the different parts of speeches. And it also talks about sentence patterns, different types of sentence patterns, simple sentences, complex sentences, and things of that nature as well. This curriculum also has writing, but I do not use this curriculum for writing. I strictly use it for the grammar portion of language arts, okay? Along with this curriculum, because I use this on my instruction days, and you can check out my other videos to understand what I mean by instructional days and independent days, okay? So this is used on our instructional days. Give me that book right there. Thank you. Yep. And this is used on our instructional days as well. So this book is used like on our Fridays if I choose to teach on a Friday after work, and we use this on Saturday and Sundays, okay? This book here is used on our Wednesdays. Our Wednesdays for language arts, we are basically reviewing the things that we've learned on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. We're notebooking on Wednesdays. We're lap booking on Wednesdays. We're focusing on things that I think he may not have grasped, or if I just want to do a basic review. This book is excellent. This book is First Language Lessons, Level 4. We did Level 3 when he was in 3rd and 4th grade. Remember, he was enrolled in school full-time until now. This is our first year homeschooling full-time, 2018-2019 school year. But we still did part-time homeschooling or after schooling on the weekends sometimes, or during the summer while he was transitioning from one grade to another. So we did use this curriculum, but level 3, and I actually liked it. Okay, so we're using level 4 on Wednesdays. We have that red book right there. For additional practice on his independent days. So like I said, these 2 books we use on instruction days. On independent days, if I want to give him an assignment where I want him to practice on his own what we've learned, boom, we utilize this book here. I pull out my examples for all types of grammar concepts using this book here. So I'll photocopy a sheet, give it to him, and then he would have to complete that on his independent days, okay? Now, that is the first part of the year, the first 6 months. That's kind of how we do it. Now, what are we going to do for the final 6 months of the 2018-2019 school year? Well, during that time, what we're going to do is we're going to go into Michael Clay Thompson. We're not going to finish all of Shurley Method. We might be halfway through that program. But in the winter, I like to use Michael Clay Thompson. And the reason why I want to start using Michael Clay Thompson is because in the winter, that's when we focus on poetry tea time, which is a concept that the Brave Writer program came up with. We focus on reading great literature aloud, and we focus on, sitting back and using the cold winter months to just relax and chill and not be very formal in the homeschooling process when it comes to language arts, when it comes to writing. I heard him. Thank you. I'll be right down. Okay, so during the winter months, we're going to use Grammar Island, which is the first within his series, okay? Along with Grammar Island, once we're finished with this, we're going to go ahead and read through Grammar Town. I actually like these curriculums because they're like in a story format, and I read this already, and it's funny and it's interesting. It's grammar through literature, guys, and I thought it was very, very interesting. Okay, and then for Grammar Town, which is the second level of it, same thing, grammar through literature. Okay, and as you can see, I only got the teacher manual. And the reason why I got the teacher manual is because all I have to do when I'm reading this to my son, or my son is reading it to himself, all I need to do, guys, is just cover the answers. The answers are down here where he has to identify the different parts of speech in a particular assignment. I'll just cover this up with a sheet of paper and next card, and we can go from there. There was no need for me to get a student book for him to write in for us to do that. We're going to actually read this together. Remember, we use our winter times for reading out loud and poetry tea time. So we're going to read these out loud together and also do grammar at the same time. If I want to assign him something on his independent days during the winter, we're going to use Fix-It Grammar. We started this in the 3rd grade going to 4th grade summer, and then we stopped. So we're going to just pick up where we left off, or we'll just go ahead and start over again. So on his independent days, we're going to do this during the winter. In our instructional days, we're going to go ahead and read these together during the winter. Once the winter passes and spring comes on in, at the end of winter, beginning in spring, we're going to do what? We're going to go back and pick up where we left off with Shurley English. So that's how we're going to do our language arts. Okay. Along with that, a part of language arts is spelling and vocabulary and phonics, right? So I realized my son wasn't a very strong speller. When it comes to vocabulary words, I can give him vocabulary words and he can memorize them, use them in sentences, and recall them at any time, which is wonderful. So we do incorporate vocabulary within our homeschooling process. I don't have a set curriculum for that. We just use words based on what we're reading or what we're talking about, and they become our vocabulary words, and we just rotate that in, or not rotate, but we just bring that in, and we always spiral through it. So, you know, days or months later, I'll bring in words that he learned in the beginning just to make sure he remembers it. When we're doing our writing processes, I'll make sure that he uses some of the words from his vocabulary list regardless of when he learned them, okay? Just how we incorporated vocabulary. But because I realized my son was not a strong speller, what we did, and all he was doing in school, they gave him a spelling list, and we would go through how to properly spell them, write them 10 times each, you know. We would do a quiz on it while he was in school. I was realizing that he just memorized how to spell it, but he really didn't know the spelling rules. Nor did I know all the spelling rules, guys, as an adult. I was like, was I ever taught the different spelling rules? Was I taught the right way to figure out the spelling of a word? Was I taught like root words and prefix and suffix, and that prefixes have actual meanings to them that are used across that are broad, and they're used across all types of writing or all types of career fields? I didn't realize that until I got this book here. So what we're going to do, starting in the winter, beginning in the winter of 2018-2019 through 6th grade, maybe. This is going to take us about, I would say, a year and a half to complete. We're going to start using the logic of English essentials. They have a revised version of this, but after looking at that, I realized that's something that I was not interested in purchasing, that I like their first edition, because their first edition can be used with elementary students all the way through adults who are learning how to read, or adults who have a different language as their first language, and English is their second language. So this, I felt as though, was more appropriate for what I was looking for. Okay, I wanted to not only teach my son these rules or the proper way to think about the English language, but I myself wanted to refresh my memory for those things I totally forgot, and to bring into my toolbox things that I may not have even known, guys. So this is the book that we're going to utilize for that. Okay, I'm back, guys. My husband cooked an awesome breakfast. I thought he was just going to like maybe make oatmeal or put cereal with some milk in a bowl and, you know, have that ready for us for breakfast. But he actually did waffles. He made turkey bacon. We had grits. We had eggs. Whew, that was a big breakfast. So bear with me. I'm full. Okay. So I just showed you our language arts curriculum, right? Now, you may ask yourself, why am I switching between my language arts curriculum in the fall, and I do something different in the winter, and then I go back to what I did in the fall for the spring and summer? Well, that's because when we get to the middle of this book, when we're halfway through this book, we would have basically already discussed and understood all the concepts within these two books, okay? So in the winter, this just serves as a review, but I just wanted to do it in a more well, not anymore, in a different way. And because our winter is normally poetry tea time, where we focus on poetry and reading good literature and just reading in general aloud, I thought this would have been an excellent way for us to bring in the grammar skills so that we don't forget or lose any of those skills for 3 months. So this just incorporated literature along with ensuring that we don't forget the grammar that we learned, okay? So now let's go into writing our electives 2. For our writing, we start off the 2018-2019 school year. We start off with partnership in writing, And we'll use the methods within the writer's jungle to introduce free writing, okay? So in the beginning, we don't really focus on the mechanics of writing. We just focus on figuring out what to write about and what words to use when we write, and to talk about the writing process and how we make our sentences and stories and paragraphs vivid and interesting, and how do we keep the reader wanting to continue reading whatever we wrote about. So again, check out my video in the description box up below, and it'll talk to you about how we utilize these, okay? So we're going to do that throughout the fall. In the winter, like I said, we do poetry tea time and a lot of read alouds for literature and things of that nature. So during that time, we're going to stop the writing, and we're just going to not focus on writing anything per se, but we will continue the projects within partnership of writing, okay? But what we're going to bring in is we're going to bring in our poetry. And for poetry, we are using Michael Clay Thompson again. We're going to first start off with the music of the Hemispheres, okay? And this is just a language arts curriculum that focuses on the different types of poetry, okay? And again, it teaches poetry and language and how to write poetry and read poetry through literature. Once we're done with that, we're going to move on to building poems. And again, this is about poetry, the different types of poetry and how to write poetry. And we'll go into the concepts. We're probably going to create a lap book of some sort that talks about poetry. So we're going to read through these two curriculums, and it's probably going to take us maybe a month and a half to complete each one of these. And then we're going to read different types of poetry from different types of writers. And we're going to write our own poetry and share that with one another during our tea time. And then, of course, we'll continue with our normal read alouds that we've identified earlier in the year. So that's what our electives 2 or writing will be more of. It's a lot of literature. We'll focus on poetry, and any writing that's going to be done is going to be basically writing poems, writing songs, writing lyrics, just making beautiful music through words. So once the winter moves on along, for our writing curriculum for the spring and the summer, we're going to go ahead and bring back the Writer's Jungle, and we're going to finish this, okay? We're going to have many writing projects. At this point, we will probably be having a 2 writing assignments per month. We're going to dive deeper into the nitty-gritty and make sure he gets comfortable with writing, okay? Different types of genres of writing. Along with that, we're going to bring in IEW. Like I said in my previous video, we used IEW in the 3rd grade when he, the summer of 3rd grade before he went into 4th grade in the public school. And this is where he learned about outlines. This is where he learned about dress-ups and decorations and banned words. So we did complete part A all the way through disc 3. We stopped on disc 3 on the clinchers. We did not do clinchers. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start this program over again, utilizing the examples that we did not do previously, just to refresh our memory in how this program tells one how to write. And then we will continue throughout the entire program and finish it out. Okay, so this program teaches the child how to write formally in terms of making an outline, note-taking, writing from your notes, again talking about dress-ups and things of that nature, how to summarize a story, how to summarize a reference, how to bring in a topic or a clincher, and how to free write. They call it inventive writing and openers. Okay, so that's what this focuses on. So along with that, we're also going to start in the spring, summer, we're going to bring in research. So this is where I'm going to talk to him about what is a research paper, how do we research a topic, and how do we put together a research paper. So this is from Christian Light Education, and this is their research part 1. We'll do research part 2 in the 6th grade. Okay, so again, our curriculum for language arts and for electives 2, writing, incorporates different blocks. The first half of the school year, or the first block or semester, not even semester, the first quarter of the school year, we focus on grammar, we focus on free writing, focus on how do you write, what's the process, how do I put my thoughts down on paper. We focus on the parts of speech and how to classify a sentence, okay? We go hard on that. And then we move into poetry tea time, where it's about using words to create music, using words to express our feelings through poetry. And what is poetry? And what's the beauty of poetry? And there's poetry everywhere. There's poetry in song and music that one listens to. There's poetry that we can read from different groups of people. You know, how do we create our poetry? And talk about literature and read good, solid literature so that the child has a reference point when he is trying to think of words to put down on paper. And then we come right, that's our little break of having something laid back to do. And then we come back and we dive right again into the grammar and the 8 parts of speech. And we dive into how to spell properly and all the rules about spelling. And then we, go a little bit more deeper into the writing process and the more formal aspects of writing. And we then talk about essays and how do we write essays and all the different types of essays, and we'll do examples on that. And then finally we'll talk about research papers, and we'll introduce research papers, and we'll do 1 or 2 research papers based on a topic that he is interested in. So I hope this video makes sense. I hope you see how I blend together our language arts and our writing curriculums together. And I hope all this makes sense. And all that other stuff that's a part of our electives too, our rhetoric, our logic, and things of that nature, we just bring that in, sprinkle it in here or there throughout the school year. So you have any questions? Put them down in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you at my earliest convenience. And as always, guys, be blessed and
make it a great day.
That's right. Bye.